Yes. First of all, bonjour, Florence.
Bonjour.
Welcome. I wanted to buy an apartment for my mother. She loves Paris. It's her dream to live in Paris. So during the pandemic, she kept talking about, oh, when the pandemic is over, I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Paris. And I thought, we've been saving money for a while for your retirement. Why don't we buy you an apartment in Paris for your retirement? And she was like, oh, it's not such a bad idea. So the project was to design a beautiful, comfortable, exciting, printemps style home for my mother in Paris. That's right, the internet. I found a website that had a lot of different designers, and I looked at about 50 different designers in Paris. I narrowed the list down to about 10. I called each one and I met with each one, and Cecile's team was the one I was most impressed with. They're very vibrant, they're colorful, and I think one of the most important reasons that I selected Cecile's team is they do everything in 3D. By doing everything in 3D, I can see the colors, I can see the moldings, I can see the furniture, I can see it all laid out instead of the more traditional way, which would have just been a furniture artboard. Absolutely. The Cécile Kokocinski agency is a great name, but I call them the Coco Quartet. It's 4 fabulous, beautiful, very skilled, very meticulous women known as the Coco Quartet. And yes, they certainly met my expectations. I had high demands. There were things that I wanted, and there were things that I didn't know. And there were also things which I didn't know I wanted, but the Coco Quartet showed me why it was necessary. They were fantastic about coming up with great designs. They were fantastic to answer my questions, ease my mind. They offered wonderful suggestions, all of which were colorful, they were dynamic, they were fun, and they really understood my intent and the atmosphere I wanted to create. Come on, I'll show you. So this is the living room. I know you think this is actually a mural, and it is a mural, but it's also closets, right? So the Coco Quartet selected all the furniture that you see here. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's an inflatable chair that's made of glass and plastic. This is a sleeper sofa, which was selected by Florence. Very heavy, very well made, very comfortable bed. This is one of my favorite pieces. Cecile and Florence had the idea of taking very antique, authentic 18th century Marie Antoinette chairs and putting very modern furnishings on it. So what you see here is Jean-Paul Gantier, his fabrics on Marie Antoinette chairs. It was really fun, it was really engaging, and I had a really good time. It all started with their style quiz. So they sent me like an 8 or 9 page quiz asking about my favorite colors, what kind of materials I wanted to use, what was the purpose of the different functions in the room. So after completing the style quiz, we had a Zoom call. This was still during the pandemic, so there wasn't a lot of face-to-face. And based on the Zoom call, the Coco Quartet put together a pre-plan. So we dissected the pre-plan, we said, hey, we want this room here, hey, we want to use that, we want to change. So we went through a couple of versions of the pre-plan, and then I had an opportunity to come to Paris. So when I was in Paris, I went to the offices and we looked at samples, we looked at wallpapers, we selected colors, we picked out paints. Very productive time. And based on that, the Coco Quartet, they were able to take my direction and inspiration and work it. So when the construction period finally started, they gave me an option of 2 different contractors. We selected one contractor, and the construction, we couldn't really start in July because that's vacation month, so the work began in August. And it lasted for about 4 or 5 months, and every week I got a report from Cecile and her team about what was going on, along with a lot of photographs. So even though I couldn't be here, I felt up to date I knew what was going on, and if I had any questions, they were always really quick to respond. Curious thing about being in San Francisco and having worked out in Paris, a lot of times my questions would come at night, they would answer in the morning, or I would write in the morning, they would answer at night. But anyway, answers got done. It was a combination of Zoom meetings, telephone calls, and a lot of WhatsApp messages. Yeah, very smooth process. It wasn't perfect. Whenever we encountered problems, we were able to communicate effectively and work through them. I think buyers who are not living in Paris, international clients, they bought a place in Paris or they're thinking about buying a place in Paris, but they need people on the ground who can handle the decoration, the renovation. The Coco Quartet did everything for me, from the renovation to furniture selection to the beautiful moldings that you see everywhere, even down to like picking out bed sheets for the bed. So if you need a team that's going to be your turnkey solution, but you can't be in Paris all the time, Coco Quartet is fantastic.